There we go.
Come and knock.
I just want to shake some sense into you kids.
I think we need more of T doing that.
Yeah.
Well, hello, all three of you out there listening. It is Tuesday night that we are doing the threesome because we were all feeling too shitty on Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sent the message that it was delayed. I went straight. I didn't even go out and have a cigarette. I just went straight to bed.
She said, screw this, you're out.
Yeah, I slept till about 5:30. It's like, this is good. This is good.
Oh,
Fucking
I'm glad some good came out of it because I felt bad having to tap out yesterday.
The weather here is so weird. It's, is it hot or cold? Yes.
Oh.
You go outside and you feel chilly, but yet you realize you're hot. And you go inside and turn on the air conditioner and you get too cold. So you turn on the heater and then you get too hot. You can have it set to the exact same temperature for your air conditioner or your heater, and you're still either too hot or too cold. It's some weird thing that happens out here. It sucks.
Is it the humidity?
It's muggy, but it's not. It's just some weird weather that sits here for about a week and then goes away. And meanwhile, you mow your lawn and then you come out 2 days later and you're like, what the fuck? There's like elves hiding in my lawn.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Man.
We had a thing here that apparently only comes about every 12 years called a super bloom.
Mm-hmm.
So,
wow.
it rained for like 2 weeks straight.
Yeah.
And when we went outside, the entire yard was like waist high in weeds.
Yeah.
It's like, this wasn't here a day ago.
Yeah.
It's like, this was gravel.
Actually, yes.
It is gravel.
Yeah, our front and backyard are entirely gravel. And then we went outside. It's just, where the fuck do you all come from?
It's like, why is there dandelions covering my concrete driveway?
Yeah.
I wish it was dandelions. We got these weird plants that drop like caltrops.
We call them caltrops. They're these little round things covered in thorns, and they're bad.
They get on your sock. They get on your socks. They somehow migrate into the bed.
Yeah, actually, and it's not the little sticky things. These are like full-on wooden caltrops. You step on them, and now your foot is bleeding.
Yeah, they'll punch right through your goddamn shoe. That's how bad they are.
Oh man, that's like, you watch weather like that, and then you watch a post-apocalyptic movie, and they go to the city, and there's no plants, and it's like, no, this place would be gone.
Yeah. No, there would be plants, like, instantly.
There are plants that are like delicious concrete.
Yes.
I mean, they'll throw that shit down.
I think that's beginning to change in film, but I think because of Mad Max, the aesthetic forever for post-nuke or post-apocalyptic was always desert.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize something. A lot of people, if you look at this and if you look at them and tell them that rain is actually water droplets around small pieces of debris, they look at you like you're fucking dumb.
Yeah.
And no, it's rain. It's water.
Right?
Yeah.
What?
There's a piece of dust in every raindrop, right?
Yes. Yeah. So, it's going to, you take a look at 5-6 years of rain and you've got like an inch or two of dirt.
Well, that's why, when it rains, no, your car is not getting clean. Your car is just getting mud on it.
Yeah, it's like, I just washed the car. Son of a bitch. It never fails.
It never fails.
That's right. You've come to the Monday threesome. We're going to bitch about weeds and rain.
Yeah.
And washing
you can tell we've gotten old.
Oh, God. Okay, we moved out here, right? Moved to the fucking desert. We moved during the hottest summer on record for the Phoenix area.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to cool off. I'm going to wash the car by hand because why not? And, I was really good. I did it at sunset, so I wasn't doing it at like noon. But anyway, washed the car. Freaking monsoon hit the next day.
Of course it did.
Fails. That's
Of course
that's
it did.
the rain dance is to wash your car.
Yep. Or mow your lawn. One of the two.
Mow your lawn. It's like, God damn it. Actually, yeah, I spent all last week weeding the jungle that popped up in our backyard so we could actually have a yard again. And it's raining today. What the hell?
Oh yeah, you gotta love it. And it's funny, it's all the little shit that start. I'll tell you what sucks about being an adult. It's all the little shit that starts piling up that you don't notice or care about when you're a kid. Car's dirty, haha, I can draw on it,
Yeah.
Grass is tall, wee. But when you're an adult, it's like, fuck, if I don't mow the lawn, goddamn city's gonna be out here giving me a $20 fine. The car's dirty. And my wife's gonna bitch at me. The front porch needs swept. Oh fuck. And it just piles up until one day you just snap. That's what makes motherfuckers snap.
Mm-hmm. Haven't gotten to the point yet where I'm wanting to sweep my front porch, but goddamn that yard now.
All the deserts are going to be gone soon enough, Marv. Exactly how? I don't see it getting that much greener here.
Global warming.
No, not where I am. No.
No.
There is nothing more heart-wrenching for it to be 115 degrees outside, and it has been for the last week and a half, to watch the weather report saying, oh, look, here's a storm front coming in, and then to see it bypass us because the way the valley is set up, weather doesn't come here in summer. And so
you can literally see it raining a mile away. You're like,
yeah,
son
literally.
of a bitch.
What? I don't mind. I don't give a shit.
During 115 degrees in summer?
We came to a desert. You just fucking live with it.
No. You live with it, but it's when you've had, like 45 days of 110 degrees and you're seeing a little bit of rain and you literally watch it go around you and then continue on its way to New Mexico. It's like fuck you.
It's like winning 15 cents in the lottery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look like this. I'm an adult. I have an air conditioner.
Yeah, exactly. This is why I have a job, so I can have an air conditioner.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, global warming's been overblown.
Yeah.
For those of you who didn't catch it, Amazon put out an alert today. The prices of all the paperback and hardback books will be going up.
All of them? I thought it was only ones that were bigger than 6x9.
No, 6x9 has additional pricing.
Okay, so how much more expensive are they going to get?
I don't know. I looked at I didn't compare it yet. I just read the email, I followed the link, went to the graph at the bottom and looked at the graph. I was like, what the fuck ever? I don't know. I hardly make anything anyway. I don't care. But you got to watch it in case you've got, like me, you've got a thin margin because you might start making negative money.
Well, wait a minute. You do make money, though, on your book.
Yeah, but I make, I keep it on a thin margin.
They're saying that they're not adjusting what creators are making.
Oh,
right.
They're just going to charge more.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's up to you to go in and reset the prices.
They're taking more of your cut.
Yeah.
Again.
Yep.
So that's good to know. So
that's right, everyone. This doesn't go into effect until June, so go buy the book now.
Yeah. Shit, I just finished the first editing pass on book 10.
Oh, excellent.
Yep. Which is, let's see, Danbury both goes home and the Atrekna arrive. So that's going to be fun.
Oh, cool.
And my cover's almost done.
Oh, nice. Do you have samples to show?
Actually, yeah, I do.
Oh,
You go inside. I can email them to Ishii. I got 2 samples. I've got the original concept, and then I've got the detail on the power armor troop.
Oh, cool.
And like everything else, it's directly directly a scene out of the book because I hate it. One thing I've always hated, even when I was a kid, is when you buy a book and it's got something really cool on the cover, right? I mean, you got something really cool, and you read the whole fucking book, and that scene is not in there.
I agree completely. That's always bugged the shit out of me.
And it's always been like, are you kidding me? I bought this book for this cool looking scene, and it's not in here. Well, it's just to attract your attention. Well, why don't you just throw a flashbang at me? That'll attract my attention.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll be noticeably less pissed off if you flashbang me.
Like, well, then why didn't you pick one of the scenes in the book that is interesting to put on the cover? Right. Right. Shoot. Okay. You know what? That is not an excuse in any way, shape, or form, because a book that I have from junior high was when, and I'm not kidding you, when Magic the Gathering was doing novelizations of their cards.
Yeah.
Okay, strangely enough, the book I'm going to talk about is good. There's nothing unique about it, but it does everything well, and that's all that I ask. It did have some cool ideas in it, though, that blew my mind. But the book for the Prodigal Sorcerer card,
Right.
the scene on the cover is just a scene in a bazaar where people are talking. But it's intriguing. It's engaging. You want to know, okay, what's the wheeling and dealing that's happening in this scene? And that actually does happen in the book. So, if they're putting just a typical scene in a bazaar on the cover and make it interesting, they have no fucking excuse to not put a scene in the book for anything else. But anyway.
Actually, check your email issue. I sent it to you.
Yep, I'm looking at it right now.
Dude.
This looks great.
Now, see,
if I wasn't already interested, this cover alone is instantly like, I must read.
We're going with the decision to leave everything but the woman in power armor gray, because they're in the middle of a burned out city. The cross is going to be replaced by crossed swords. He missed the swords part.
Yeah, you see that, and it's instantly, okay, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
I like the fact that the blast crater forms wings.
Yeah.
So she's a medic?
No. The cross was left there. It should be crossed sword. She's a member of the Sisters of Wrath.
Oh,
one of the martial orders. And
nice.
Yep, on the back there's going to be a damaged hover tank with the words emergency services written on it. And the only color is going to be the words emergency services.
Nice.
Because this book has a bleak section, which if people have already read the short book that's in there, which is We're the Lilac Talon and the Atomic Hooves, they know what part it is.
Well, I really like, especially because this is a stark contrast to the most recent book that came out, which is actually like full of color, and it actually looks kind of happy.
But yeah, he's going to leave some of her, like, I told him if he wants to, artistic license, he can leave the feet blurry like that, because the majority of the focus should be where it is. So, we were going to do it a full color, and then it was like, no, because they're in the middle of a city that's hit by multiple atomic weapons and multiple orbital bursts. Everything is described as being covered in gray dust.
I love it. So when you're talking to your artist, is it you give him scenes that you'd like to see depicted and then he picks one to work on, or do you decide together?
Well, I give him some scenes. I'd like him to choose one. He chooses one, and then I do an in-depth art call, which is I describe exactly what I want, and how I want, but then I gave him several options for artistic license because I found out over the years that artists, while they like freedom, they also like to know what the client wants. So it's not the constant, well, that's not quite what I had in mind. So usually, I mean, he's never handed me a cover that wasn't what I wanted, which is really nice.
It kind of reminds me of working with Patrick with Case File Arkham, how I would do layouts for every page. I'd do these full-blown layouts with speech bubbles and collages and drawings to show him exactly what I wanted. And he came to me like, I want a little more freedom in this project. I'd like you to kind of dial back on the layouts.
He's like, okay.
So I stopped doing them for a week.
He came back and said, can you start doing them again?
This is a lot of work.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, the only change I suggested was put the chainsword in her hand.
Oh, rather than laying by her side?
Yeah. Because
I really like what you got there, though.
Yeah. Yeah, he did a really good job with the face and the blood from the head wound. I don't even mind the little color splotches.
Well, I was wondering, was that him doing a color palette near her, or
yeah, it's him doing a color palette near her. But
nice.
I mean, that's not a bad. It's not a bad. It's going to be a really good cover. That's why I stick with this guy. I mean, he's really good, and this will be the 10th book he's done. So that looks good in his. That looks good in his portfolio.
Well, also, especially with how long your epic is, it is important to have a consistent art style.
Yes.
There's nothing worse than, suddenly, and you get used to looking for a particular type of artwork, or your character's drawn a certain way, and then it totally changes. One of my favorite series, it's 7 books long, and every single goddamn book has a different artist doing the cover, and each artist doesn't seem to pay attention to how the previous artists drew the main characters.
Right.
It's like, God damn it. Pop. Hey, Janelle.
Hey, Janelle.
What did I miss?
We're just looking at the cover art for Raltz's next book.
Yeah.
And bitching about old people stuff.
Yes.
I don't think I have any old people stuff do I?
We were bitching about the lawn.
Haven't maintained the lawn,
Hey, I'm an adult, though, so you know what?
Yeah.
I still have the right to look out and say, fuck it. As far as I understand, in Arizona, we don't get any shit for not mowing or taking care of the yard.
No, we don't. People, the cops aren't going to come by and get at you for
we
not
slowly are going to slowly get the weeds out of there bit by bit, but
no. We have what nature provides, and nature provided a dust devil the other day. I'm not kidding. Yanked out half the weeds in our front yard. It was amazing. It's like, I don't have to go out there now. Thank you.
So you don't do things like my grandparents lived in Arizona, not my bad grandparents, my good grandparents. My grandmother used to sit out with a fucking eyedropper with plant poison and go through each brick and kill each weed so she could have a perfect front yard. I don't have patience for that.
No, I open up a thing of Roundup and literally marinate the
just
yard.
hose it down. So, yeah, talking, just completely changing the subject from old people stuff to young people stuff.
Yeah.
Another memory came back to me about my youth.
Yeah.
And I had a friend in high school who he and his brother got arrested and had to be on house arrest for a year with the ankle bracelet.
Oh, God.
When they went to school.
Yeah.
And
what'd they do?
That was the thing. They had decided, we can easily steal these limousines from a limo service. And they claimed to have even had a buyer lined up. And what they did is the fact that the two brothers were very slender. So they snuck out of their house at the middle of the night and they smashed a window and crawled through the limo service.
Okay.
I mean, they had to climb up like a second floor to do it.
Okay.
And they stole 2 limos.
Okay.
And supposedly they had a buyer, but instead of going straight to the buyer, they went joyriding.
Uh-huh.
And they decided
regular limos or stretch limos?
Stretch.
Oh, God.
And there's nothing like having somebody wake you up in the middle of the night to show you the limo they stole while doing donuts. It's like, okay, well then. And then to find out the next day, yeah, they got arrested.
Like, okay. Like, I have questions.
Sure.
Were they pulled over, or
Yes.
did they park it in front of their house and didn't think anybody would notice?
No, they were pulled over because, typically one doesn't see a limo doing donuts at 2 a.m.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God.
Nor do you expect to, I think when you pull the driver out and it's a teenager in a Megadeth t-shirt with his hair down to his waist.
Yeah.
It's obviously not the driver.
No.
Yeah. These were the people I hung out with growing up.
Yeah.
Did not do anything. The stupidest thing I did was go in the storm drains under the 163 freeway with a lit torch. And then I found out later, they're like, there's methane pockets down there. It's like, oh
fuck.
It's like, well, I didn't hit one.
Yeah.
No, I did the same thing, except we did something a bit stupider.
What did you do?
Well, we would go down in the storm drains, and we knew that one of the gutters had an opening to the highway to patrol.
Yeah.
Parking lot.
The actual HPC?
Yeah. So we left M80s in the gut. We put them out.
Oh, fuck.
Through the gutter.
Wow.
So, the highway patrol are there in their motor pool getting their vehicles ready, and suddenly there's boom, 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 boom.
Oh my God.
These are M80s. Half of it was a fourth a stick of dynamite, so they were loud.
Shit.
Yeah, we did a lot of stupid shit.
Oh yeah. Got it. Well, I didn't really do that much stupid shit because everybody else was getting into stupid shit about the time I had a job in a trailer house.
Yeah, you couldn't afford getting in trouble.
Well, that, why go out and get in trouble when I could finish work and go home?
True. And it's your place.
Everybody else was like, oh, we got so wasted last Saturday night. We went out and did this at this party. What'd you do? Finished work about 1 a.m, went home, drank a beer, had dinner, drank a beer, watching TV, went to bed with my girlfriend. That sounds boring. Yeah, well, I'm not the one going to juvenile hall.
Exactly.
So another one of these was another behavior problem of a friend. Decided to play sniper in the bushes with his BB gun.
Oh shit!
What was he sniping?
He was trying to break car windows.
Oh, shit!
And he didn't, but he did put some dents, like pellet holes, right?
Yeah.
And then a cop walks over to him, and he's laughing.
The cop's laughing?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Not quite in a sniper position, are you, champ?
No.
Yeah, the cop took the BB gun and said, yeah, don't do it again.
Wow. Damn, he's lucky.
The cop thought it was hilarious.
Oh, this is Riverside.
Yeah, well, it was the 90s. This was before the LAPD or the Riverside PD was completely fucked.
It's also Riverside, you wouldn't have gotten that in San Diego.
Well, my friends and I I don't know if you guys remember Long's Drugs before it got bought out.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so my friend got a new paintball rifle, and at like 1 o'clock in the morning in Spring Valley, we were shooting paintballs at the Long's Drugs sign and splattering it with yellow paint because he wanted to test out his gun to see if it worked. It's pretty fun. I enjoyed myself.
It was the 90s. I wanted to get revenge on somebody, and I got really sick of their shit. So I borrowed a friend's paintball gun and put the paintballs in the freezer, and then just
Ouchie.
unloaded it on the guy's car.
Oh God.
Oh, okay. So you didn't shoot him, because I know
No.
people who would be vindictive and freeze their paintballs
Oh,
and go after somebody at like the next match with frozen paintball guns.
that happened to my
Well,
mom.
No. That's a good way to break bones.
No, that happened to my mom. She and her D&D group went paintballing in like, you know, the winter when it was raining and all the paintballs froze.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
Whoops.
wow. You would think that the guys that run the course would know better.
No. Not this place now.
I told you about the story about my cousins who were doing quote unquote butt darts.
God.
Oh, is that butt chugging?
No.
Yeah, I didn't know about this. Where they take the turkey baster or the
Or the funnel. Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So butt chugging.
Yeah, butt chugging.
Wait, that's actually real and not just an internet meme?
No, it's a thing.
No, it's real.
It's real. It's a thing.
You
Oh
get
my
shit-faced
God.
like 10 times faster. It was a thing that frat boys were doing in the late 90s, early 2000s, to the point that Playboy did an expose on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Well,
What's wrong?
okay, so my cousins who were doing this with a turkey baster, they used to be the ones who staffed one of those paintball centers. So I'm not shocked that they wouldn't know what they were doing.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, God.
And here I thought I was bad for just sitting there and swilling wild turkey straight out of the bottle.
You were probably still somewhat functional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, one of these cousins is the one that ripped a hole in his heart from drinking too much and then jumping into a jacuzzi. So,
Oh, ow, fuck. That made my chest hurt just thinking about it.
How
Yeah.
do you rip a hole in your heart jumping into a jacuzzi?
he gave himself a heart attack.
He had so much alcohol in his system that when he jumped into the jacuzzi, it instantly.
Gave him a heart attack.
Although I gotta be honest with you, I think it was more than just alcohol.
Yeah, I think it was too.
That sounds like meth.
Actually, it might have been.
I wouldn't be shocked with this cousin if it had been meth.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know he also works in collections?
Oh, he's a fucking repo man.
He runs a freaking scam. He's one of those people that calls you up and says, yeah, if you don't pay us like right now, we're going to take your house. And, you know, and he calls up people who.
Well, I hope you'll bring guys with guns that you aren't very attached to.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised he didn't die. He might be dead now, but
He might be.
I wouldn't honestly know.
I got a cousin got killed in the early 90s stealing stealing explosives from construction sites.
Why?
Because he tried to outrun the cops in a car and crashed it.
No.
Oh,
Why was he
shit.
stealing dynamite?
Who the fuck knows? This guy was one of these guys that always had a scheme to get rich that always seemed to end in front of a judge.
That's my cousin.
That is your
That
cousin.
is my cousin.
I mean, from what I heard, that car blew up like it was a Michael Bay movie.
Oh, shit.
And apparently the cops were like, what the fuck? Yeah, and you can tell my family's used to this shit because my brother calls me up and he's laughing so hard I can barely understand him. He goes, guess who blew himself up?
Oh, shit.
And he told me, I'm like, fuck that guy. I hated him. I stabbed him at a family reunion one time.
Wow.
Jesus.
Why?
Because he needed stabbing.
That's a good reason.
because I hated him.
Probably have benefited from a good stabbing or two.
Yeah.
Oh God! Every family reunion every year somebody got stabbed. Usually, non-fatally.
Shit.
Jeez, my family reunions were mild. We just watched the dog get drunk off the leaky kegs.
Oh God, there'd be like 300-400 people at the family reunion. I mean, motherfuckers I hadn't seen since the last family reunion.
Did you have the bit where like complete strangers would show up and pretend to be part
Yes.
of the family just to get
Actually,
the food?
we did, and it's really cool because I've told you guys my family lived by the Mad Land by the Res.
Yeah.
And my whole life, this Indian guy would show up, right? I remember when he was younger, he was probably like in his 20s, he'd show up. Well, he's probably about in his late 50s, and he's sitting there, and all of a sudden he just bursts out laughing. Everybody looks at him, he goes, "What?" He goes, "I'm not actually related to any of you assholes. I just come down here and eat food."
That would happen in Norco too.
Yeah, Ishii's family.
I'm not really related to these people, fortunately.
Well, the people Ishii grew up with, there would be entire cars that would just show up. People would pile out, they'd get in line, get food, and then they'd leave.
That's because they thought it was legitimately a soup kitchen.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, we called this Indian dude Uncle. I called him to get me out of jail one night.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, see. Okay, he's a decent guy then.
Yeah.
You've now earned being family. It's all good.
Yeah, but he just thought it was funnier than shit that everybody's like, we honestly thought he'd married like one of the cousins or something. I was like, okay, I guess you're part of the family now. He got invited to all the family events.
That's a trip.
That is a trip.
It's like, I've been doing this for 30 years. That was funnier than shit. And everybody just took it in stride, which kind of shocked him. Maybe not. But yeah, he'd bring his kids.
Wow.
Family reunions, man. You always end up with some kind of fucking drama. Somebody's fucking somebody else's wife the night before, because our family reunions are like a 3 or 4 day affair. So, with tents and the kids sleeping in the barn and the older people sleeping in the farmhouse and people bringing campers and stuff. So there was always fighting. You slept with my wife. And I'd always be like, holy shit, I got to get out of here. Why do I come to these? Oh, yeah, otherwise my mom bitches at me.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, that was the famous one. My wife to this day laughs about it. First time she went to one, and up comes this little old lady with a cane who's like 9,000 years old and introduces herself. And, she's the grandma that we named one of our daughters after. And she's talking to her, and out of the blue, my wife was there, my sister was there, and they all laugh about this. My grandma looks at both my sister, who's just recently married, and my wife, and goes, "Do you two take it in the butt?" They're just staring at her. She goes, "Because if you don't, he'll find someone who will." And then turns around and just canes her way back to the porch.
Oh my God.
Well, I looked at my sister and went, "Okay."
God damn, Grandma.
Like, don't pay attention to that evil old woman.
Wow.
And she was something else. No, it's easy to wake your husband up. If you won't get up in time for work for the 3rd day in a row, you just get his pistol and go in there and fire off 3 shots and yell, "The sheriff's here." I told him, if you ever fucking do that to me, I swear to God. She also advised young women to slightly poison their husbands if they got out of line.
What? Was she like the giggling granny? That lady that poisoned like 5 of her husbands and
she
like
didn't
her
mean
kids
kill
and
them.
grandkids?
She didn't mean kill them. She just meant just enough to make them ill.
Wow.
Damn.
If he's out there screwing around and messing up, you just poison his ass.
Oh my God.
My wife's like, "How many husbands have that woman gone through?" I said, "Same husband for 50 fucking years. I think the old man died to get away from her." Everybody has relatives like that. Just most of them don't open their fucking mouths.
So, since we're sharing covers, may I?
Oh,
I think, are we close enough to talking about
yeah,
this?
go ahead.
I'm on the back porch, so I'll look at it when I'm done with this cigarette I
Cat?
just fucking lit.
I will give you the honors.
Oh, but it's your book.
Well, we're editing it together.
Yeah.
So what's the cover for this for?
Mine has tentacles on it. So no, this is yours.
We are releasing yet another pulp anthology, and it came to the conclusion that, there aren't any good female villains anymore. They all suck.
So
No.
Women aren't allowed to be villains because they're victims.
So
we
collected. It looks like it's going to be 18 stories of classic pulp sci-fi with legit good female villains that are enjoyable to read. Who are evil.
We're very evil, and all of them are fucking hot.
The ones that got the drop on old Mike Hammer were always the women. They always got the drop on him.
Yep.
Yeah.
They fuck his day up because he wouldn't see it coming, and they were all smart and driven and ruthless.
And that usually is the case in noir, is that the femme fatale is usually the most intelligent and most dangerous one in the room.
Double indemnity for one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore. I mean, I get a lot of people who love the detainee because I've never had a redemption arc for her. There is no redemption arc for her. She's just plain mean.
And I like that. I like that she's, unapologetically evil.
But I made her relatable.
Yeah.
What?
Okay, just as an example of some of the stories in here. You're reading one right now that's been selected, My Darling Hecate.
Yeah.
Which imagine Bewitched, except that Samantha wipes out an entire town because they were gossiping.
Yeah.
I like that premise.
Yeah, she wiped out an entire town because they were gossiping. There was a young girl who was kind of flirting with her husband, and so she cursed her to be 80 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like Bewitched, but a little bit more realistic.
But Samantha's a nutcase.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Samantha always barely had she had a barely restrained dark side. I mean, one bad day would have pushed her over the line.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, Andorra never helped.
I was going to say, her mom, dude.
It was really weird. All my friends were attracted to Samantha, and I liked Andorra. I don't know why. I told my father that, and he goes, she'd eat your head when she was done.
Who was Samantha's more not evil but darker cousin when they put the black wig on? Not McGovern. What was her name? Elizabeth Montgomery.
I don't remember what. But yeah, it was the evil Samantha basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
My
was
darling.
Great.
But the thing is, for those of you who know who the hell we're talking about, Elizabeth Montgomery looked so much better with black hair. I don't know why they dyed it blonde.
I told you why they dyed it blonde.
Why?
Because blonde hair psychologically says this is a pure, innocent person. So blonde hair instantly says this is the good girl who's not going to get into trouble. That's why, Lucille Ball always played redheads because redheads get into mischief. And that's exactly what her character did.
Well, I'm sorry. If you've ever known redheads, they get into mischief.
Yes,
Serena.
Exactly.
Sorry, Serena. That was the cousin. Serena.
Yes.
There. Sorry, I just interrupted. I was like, oh, wait, it's Serena.
Maybe that's why I thought Andorra was hot, was because sometimes she was a redhead on that show.
She was always a redhead.
Thought so.
Yep.
Yeah, she might have been older, but a witch her age doesn't wear panties. And you fucking know it.
Well, yeah, she was a woman who knew what she wanted, and she was gonna get it. God damn it!
Yep.
And she couldn't understand why.
Why
Her
Samantha
daughter
wouldn't
hooked
do
up
it?
with a dork.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, why do you want to be normal?
I liked Bewitched better than I liked I Dream of Jeannie. I hated I Dream of
Agreed.
Jeannie. I
Agreed.
mean, it was always like, how gay are you that you don't have that genie bent over? I mean,
Well,
for
it was
fuck's
what, the
sake.
60s? You had to, you had to be kind and you had to be clean. But yeah, he should have
Still, I
been
mean,
pummeling that genie.
Well,
yeah,
when
I
you come
mean,
back and actually can see your screen rolls, I put a picture of Agnes Moorehead young on the screen.
She was.
I'll bet she's a looker.
She was very much so a looker.
She was a very classic beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
They
there
just,
we go. That's a nice one.
they just don't make villains like they used to. I
No.
mean,
No, they do not.
you know what? Wanda had the potential to be a great villain, but they made her whiny. And I hate villains that whine.
She should have been a villain, is the thing.
She should have been. She wasn't unrepentant. She started out as unrepentant with, "Oh, when I do something, they call me a villain, but when you break the rules, you're a hero." Okay, that's a standard villain speech.
Mm-hmm.
But they made her whiny. There was this undertone of you should feel bad for her, and I don't. She let her power go to her fucking head.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can tell when you watch the movie where the rewrites and the like filming again when they did the reshoots. You can tell the difference between the horror movie we were supposed to get where she was the villain and where they did the rewrites and the reshoots and turned her into a whiny sob story. Just because there's scenes in that movie that are fucking twisted. Like when she breaks
Yeah,
every bone in her body to go through the mirror universe and then
yeah.
crawls out like fucking Reagan from The Exorcist.
Well, that's like an America Chavez, man. I hated that chick the second I saw
Yeah.
her.
God,
I don't know
she
why.
ruined the fucking
No.
film. There was there was literally no reason for her to be in the movie at all. The movie would have been fine without Little Miss Priss punching star holes through different dimensions. Totally fine.
It was
Yeah.
so
No, they
they could
had to
introduce
shoehorn
her
her
for,
in, and
like,
she
what was it,
sucks.
Marvels?
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
my God.
they wanted to make her one of these new characters that they do movies about.
Yeah.
Nobody fucking cares. Nobody likes any of these new characters.
No.
And that's just it. Nobody likes any of them. And they hate that. They can't figure out why we don't like them. And it's because they're pieces of cardboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The character on oh wow, she was gorgeous.
Yeah.
The character on I think it was one of those kids show, maybe Ed, Ed and Nettie, that was a board of wood with eyes drawn on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Has
that was
more
Ed, Ed,
depth.
Nettie.
Yeah.
That had some more depth than most modern hero characters in the new Marvel phases.
Now I've got the
Oh,
log
but
song
with
stuck in my
that,
head from that show.
do you remember the precursor to Plank?
Oh,
No.
it was Plank.
The precursor to Plank is the little wooden boy from the Tick cartoon who would
God.
go on patrol with Tick. And that character had a complete arc. He's a piece of wood with a happy face drawn on him, but he had a complete story arc.
Oh wait, was Log Ren and Stimpy and Plank
Yes.
Ed, Ed and Eddie?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm
It was
thinking of the
Pepper's
Log
boy.
song. Log, it's better than bad and good.
Yep.
Okay. Never mind. Sorry, I got my wooden characters mixed up.
Everyone wants a log. You're gonna love it, log.
Yep. Oh God, me and my friends used to sit on the couch and get drunk and watch Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, I was too young to get drunk. I just watched it. I loved Log. Log was the best.
That was one of my dad's favorite cartoons. Like, my mom hated cartoons, but I could always count on my dad to make sure, like, Ren and Stimpy or Scooby-Doo was on every Saturday morning.
Oh, see, I watched Ren and Stimpy when it would air on Saturday night when it was
Yeah.
too racy for normal time. But I had to wait for my dad to go to bed because he hated it.
Oh, my mom would be so pissed when Dad would put it on and he would like sing, Powdered Toast Man. It would piss me off. It was beautiful.
No, what blew my mind was finding out Frank Zappa did a voice on Powdered Toast Man.
What?
Frank
Oh.
Zappa was the Pope.
Oh my God, no way. I didn't know that.
Yep. He says 2 words. He says 3 words. Hooray, I'm saved. Right? That's Frank Zappa.
Weird dude, but I liked his beliefs. He was a free speech absolutist.
Mm-hmm.
Married a horrible human being, though. His wife is a piece of work, but
Yeah.
Was she?
oh, so Frank Zappa had 4 kids, and he,
Yeah.
you know, Moon Unit,
Let's see that cover.
Dweezil, Omhead, and I think, or Amit, and his 4th daughter has a totally normal name. Well, Frank, you could tell he was getting tired of wifey poo because he brought home a couple of girlfriends and said that they were now in a polygamous marriage. Had nothing to do with the wife. And then he got sick and he was dying. And he told his wife, he said, I'm asking you, there are witnesses to this, sell all the rights to my music, let it go. The music industry is evil. It's going to poison the family. Well, she decided that no, she was going to control Frank Zappa's music, wouldn't allow any biographies, kind of parsed out the music, and then started playing favorites. So Moon Unit and Dweezil were the ones that were always going out and still putting out dad's music, you know, doing the press junket, keeping Frank Zappa's dream alive. But the youngest 2 didn't really do much. Well, the wife, the mom, decided to fuck over the 2 oldest kids and made the youngest kids the executors of the estate. Now, this is where it really sucked. Dweezil had restarted the Frank Zappa band and was going on tour. And his younger brother got a lawyer, did a cease and desist, and said, you have to pay to use dad's music to go on tour now. And the mom at the end, like on her deathbed, apologized to Dweezil and Moon Unit, but she didn't say what for. She's like, I'm sorry, I betrayed you. And then they found out after she died that she had fucked over the 2 older kids who had kept Frank Zappa alive and kept the money rolling in, and let the 2 youngest, who didn't do jack shit, have control of everything. And so, yeah, like the whole Zappa and his prophecy came true, saying that my music and the music industry poisons everything. Get rid of it. And look what happened. The family fractured. Yeah. So fuck Frank Zappa's wife.
Hey, throw the cover up, Ishi. I missed it.
Oh.
Oh, wow. Very, very nice.
Hot babe who's evil.
Yeah.
I
Not only that, she's a scarlet. She's got nice scarlet hair.
So, yep, that is going to be the next one we put out.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do that?
Yeah, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that's nice.
Took me a while, but I did it.
Mm-hmm.
Love you, Mom. Love you too, babe. Night.
I have a kitty on my lap. I have a trash goblin on my lap.
Oh, little kitty.
But yeah, it kind of just came down to, we were reading all these old pulps and finding that there were all these villainous females who were actually villains, and you didn't get any of this, oh, well, it's not her fault because, you know, she had a bad childhood, or
I was like, no, she's fucking evil. She's just evil.
From the point of view of the characters in the story, the detainee had a horrific childhood because she was born in the Dust Bowl era. And Okies ate her dog, and she was once beaten over half a bag of potatoes. And, they say, she's a time of barbarism and resource conflicts and terrible medicine. And the other one goes, yeah, but if you call her a victim, she'll stab you to death before you finish the second syllable. And the guy goes, oh, victim, she's not. But we have to understand her foundation to understand her.
Well, I like that because it's you're showing how hard her life has been, but at the end of the day, she still has choice.
Yeah, she chooses to be an asshole, and she knows it. Because somebody's like, why are you so evil? And she's like, oh, do you want to have a Blossom's Bloody Panties after school special about why I'm such a bitch? Go fuck yourself.
Like one of the stories in this book is very much so a My Fair Lady type story where they take a girl off the streets and they give her basically the Captain America super serum, and as she starts coming into her own, becoming smarter, becoming stronger, becoming the in Ubermensch, basically, she's like, you know what? I'm gonna rule the world. Yeah. There's a lot of problems, and I'm the only one to fix them. So I'm gonna rule the world, and I'm gonna kill anybody who gets into my way.
I don't even recall her saying she was going to fix them. She just wanted to rule the world.
Yeah. Well, no, she says, I'm going to be the empress, and that's what's going to fix things. She goes immediately from there's pain and suffering, and the only way to fix it is I need to be the empress, and I'm just going to do that now. Bye.
Well, the other line is, well, I never had anything in my life, and now I can take anything I want.
Yeah. And I think she like just snap somebody's neck,
yes.
Like, right there. It's like, oh, they're in my way.
Yeah.
Like, don't you feel bad that you just killed somebody? No, he was in my way. I'm going out there now. Bye. Like, she at one point she literally steals fashionable handbags like Prada and jewels and says, "Well, I wanted them. I'm the empress of the world. I can do what I want. I wanted this." It's like, what? And nowadays, just like with Cruella being a fucking puppy killer, they try to spin that into, she's a victim somehow.
I hate those Disney movies that turned all the epic villains into victims. Like Maleficent was a quote unquote victim of rape and colonialism. Like, what the fuck?
Well, I watched Maleficent and it wasn't a bad movie. If you don't look at this as the same Maleficent that turns into a dragon, it's not a bad movie. And because that's where we are nowadays. We're at a point now where not a bad movie is about what you can expect. And the second one, I got bored and tuned out. But the first one wasn't bad. It really wasn't. And I like the spoiler. She suffers a churn of heart and falls in love with the girl like she's her own daughter. And that's the true love's kiss. And it's not like some weirdo lesbian kiss. It's just a normal parental kiss that wakes her up. And so it was true love's kiss. It was she had to understand love in order to bring the child back, because she tried to adjust her curse herself and couldn't break it. And I thought it was an interesting movie. Angelina Jolie did excellent, for her. She's still Angelina Jolie in a weird wig, but it wasn't a bad movie. And every choice she makes is logical. Every choice that people make are logical. It's not, oh, you should feel bad for her. She's only a villain because of, oh, no. She relishes in the fact she's a villain. Because, I mean, she's angry, but she relishes in the fact she doesn't have to do this stuff, but she does. And maybe I took away something a little different from Maleficent. But like I said, Cruella, no. Cruella's a puppy killer. All these other ones they're trying to make, into good guys. Notice they're not trying to redeem Gaston when Gaston. No, Gaston would have had. There was a reason every woman in the village lined up to suck his dick. Okay, go ahead.
You could totally 100% see making a film where you feel sympathetic for Gaston in every, and not even change anything that you saw in the cartoon.
Yeah. The village survives because of him.
Mm-hmm.
Him and his friends keep the bandits away. They hunt deer. They hunt elk. They keep everybody. They keep order. And to me, Belle in that movie always came across as a spoiled little brat.
Mm-hmm.
The remake or the first film?
The first film.
And I've seen neither, so.
Well, I had kids, so I saw them. And Gaston, there's all these women would have been lining up for Gaston, and I get he wants the one girl that's not interested in him. But the prince wasn't that big of a catch either. And the fact that the kid says no, so the witch curses the entire staff. It's like, really? Really, you're gonna curse these poor motherfuckers? And then you got to look at it. 5 years later, Belle's dead anyway.
Wait, 5 years later, Belle's dead?
She'd be historically, she'd be dead.
Oh, okay. I'm like, did I miss something?
And anyway, she's a woman who could read and had a smart mouth in the 1600s. Yeah.
It was Taming of the Shrew. It was a
Yeah.
Disney-fied version of Taming of the Shrew.
The nobleman would have smacked her around the minute she opened her fucking mouth.
So I like the Witcher version of Beauty and the Beast. It's really funny because the Beast has a huge dick, and so the dads in the village the Beast will pay to have the girls for a year, and they end up liking it because he's got a big dick and he likes to fuck, and the dads get tons of gold from the Beast. So the Beast was living the life in the Witcher series. It was great.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I like the. I know that The Witcher is a ripoff of Elric, and I can't pronounce his name because it's Polish, so forgive me. But the author of The Witcher really did some fun twists with the Grimm's fairy tales and whatnot. Like Snow White actually was a. I don't know if he got this from Fables. You know how Snow White was a sexual assault victim of the Seven Dwarves? Like the same thing. Yeah, that was in Fables. Like something had happened to Snow White where she went batshit, and her 7 dwarves were 7 assassins, and they were the leading assassins in the kingdom. And the Witcher is sent to kill her. But yeah, she, instead of being Snow White, oh, that's right. The guy that rescued her ended up being a slimeball, the prince, and so she killed him and ran. And became an assassin and had 7 other assassins underneath her. And she ends up seducing the Witcher too. So I mean, it was pretty different twist. But yeah, I remember in Fables, it was she had been kidnapped by the 7 princes of the dwarf kingdom, and they kept her in a cottage as a slave, and they raped her repeatedly. That was in the comic book.
Wonderful. Have you seen?
Well, that's the same comic book that decided the big villain of the whole world was Geppetto.
Oh, yeah. I know. What was up with that
the good
shit?
dad.
It was fucking Geppetto with a puppet army. All you needed was a few dragons that could breathe fire, and the game would have been over. The fact that they said that Geppetto was able to kill Aslan from the Narnia series and destroy the realm of Narnia is absolute bull. Everybody talked about how Fables was such an amazing Vertigo series. I fucking hated it.
I don't agree.
I couldn't. I'll admit I never read Fables, but every time I saw what they were doing with the stories, I wasn't interested.
Your cousin's significant other lent it to me, and I was not impressed.
Nah.
Oh no, the big bad wolf does a heel turn because he has imprinted upon Snow White and has become the sheriff of Fabletown. And he was the gatekeeper for people to go to the world of the mundane, the normie world, and became a good guy that helped ferry people over, but he'd have to lick them first to make sure they had a good soul. And if they didn't, he ate them. Like, that's not the big bad wolf I remember.
No.
Yeah. Come on. What happened to the big bad wolf that rapes grandma, then hollows her out to a flesh suit? No, seriously, that's the old.
Yes.
That's actually brought up in the story Fables. But like Little Red Riding Hood has amnesia because the attack was so fucking brutal. She can't remember it.
But yet the big villain is one of fairy tales' classic good dads.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Buddy Smith, for real? We were supposed to get Peter Pan as the villain? That would have been fucking epic!
Wasn't Peter Pan like fat and old or some shit, or was that a different movie?
Well, there's.
Are you thinking of Hook with Robin Williams? He wasn't fat and old, but he was middle-aged.
No. It's a movie that came out fairly recently, and I guess Peter Pan's made out to be a complete loser.
Oh, Peter and the new one
Pan and Wednesday.
That bombed hard.
people were pissed because Peter Pan was like a total moron, and Wendy was a expert fencer, so she actually takes on the pirates with, I think, 2 fucking swords.
No.
And the Lost Boys are actually the Lost Boys and Girls.
Yeah.
Fuck this shit.
No,
Hey,
Period.
click
no,
on what
no,
Buddy
no.
Smith said, that what was supposed to happen in Fables instead about Hook.
Okay, I have to ask. Anybody here see Snow White: A Tale of Terror?
I love
No.
that movie with Sigourney Weaver. That has
Yes.
Jerky Baby in it.
Yes. That is like the best interpretation of Snow White ever.
Oh yeah, that's like that. That was a great interpretation of a Grimm fairy tale. It's Sam Neill was it Sam Neill was the dad
Yeah,
in
Sam
that
Neill
one?
is the dad.
And Sigourney Weaver, and it had the one dude from Ally McBeal
Mm-hmm.
that played the head of the miners. Weren't they all escaped convicts?
Yeah, they were all escaped convicts, and they were, but they were on the lam, but they figured out they could make money by working in the abandoned mines nearby.
Yeah. And they were on the lam, and they were criminals, but they weren't shitty criminals because
No.
they took in Snow White.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
I actually liked that movie a lot. I didn't see Snow White and the Huntsman, but I was not interested.
Isn't Snow White and the Huntsman have? Doesn't Snow White and the Huntsman have that weird looking chick with that only has one expression?
Yeah.
Yes, it was Bella Swan, Thor, and Aeon Flux. It was Chris Hemsworth, Charlize Theron, and Kristen Stewart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw scenes of it, and I wasn't impressed.
Yeah, I mean, it looked pretty, you know, the special effects, but the moment they said Kristen Stewart was going to be Snow White, I checked out. And I don't even think Thor had come out yet, so Chris Hemsworth was still unknown.
Yeah.
I'm glad that she vanished because holy shit, was she like insufferable.
Oh, she didn't vanish. She moved to the indie scene, which apparently is what's helped her career because she plays lunatics.
Does she learn how to show more than one expression?
I want to see Crimes of the Future, the David Cronenberg film, because some of the scenes I saw that she was in, she looks deranged. She actually has like emotion.
I will admit, I saw the trailer and I didn't recognize her at first.
Neither did I, because like she actually, like you see her look all nuts. Her eyes are all wide and she's turned on by torture. I'm just like, well, shit, dude, she can act.
Well, that remains to be seen. She could have just, learned a new expression. So
I do want to see it, especially when I heard that I think it was at Cannes Festival when it was released. And first 5 minutes, people were running out of the theater. It was so gory, people were getting ill. It's
what
like
movie?
shit. Crimes of the Future. And Cronenberg decided to go back to body horror. It's with Viggo Mortensen and Lea Seydoux and Kristen Stewart. And in
Viggo Mortensen, I'm there just with him alone. So
and people left because it was so gory.
Yeah, I guess the first 5 minutes like freaked people out. So of course, since it's a Cronenberg film and that happened, I really want to see it, like really bad. Well, there's a whole scene that they showed in the Red Band trailer where he's cut himself open, and Lea Seydoux has put her fingers in the wound and is like messing with it, like pulling it apart.
I'm wincing just hearing that.
I know. It's just like, and then she's like starts licking it. I'm like, oh fuck, I need to see this really bad.
Shit.
Well, it's Cronenberg. If it's gross, it's going to be good. That's why I loved his other movies, his more like serious drama and psychological horror. But the fact that he's like the grandfather of body horror really makes me love. I've never seen Existence, and I really want to. I've seen half of Rabid, which was like his first film. I don't know if you guys have seen Rabid. It starred a former porn star.
I remember.
Yeah, that's the one where she has like the vagina in her armpit that has the phallus come out and stab people.
That is a weird film.
I know.
It is the weirdest take on vampires and zombies I have ever seen.
Oh, I know, but, like, just the way he was able to get the sexual imagery in, she has a vulva in her armpit that a penis comes out of.
But it's like a fang or something, and when she stabs people and drinks their blood,
Yeah,
and then they become zombies.
That's weird.
but
Yeah, it is a strange one.
He has a flesh TV getting flogged, so
that is my favorite scene in Videodrome, when the flesh TV is getting flogged and Debbie Harry is, "Ah!" It's so orgasmic. And then, of course, there's Scanners with the absolutely wonderful and excellent Michael Ironside blowing up a dude's head on live television. Great movie.
Probably
That's
the
it.
best
That's it.
exploding
Chippendale.
ever.
Chippendale was the movie. Chippendale was the movie I was thinking of. Undead Quinn hit it. Chippendale was the movie I was thinking of.
Oh, is that the one where Peter Pan was old and
Yeah.
fat?
Oh God, the big thing was the big thing that people on the internet spurred out about was that basically the female mouse married the group dog. She married the fly.
Gadget?
Yeah, Gadget married the fly and had kids with it.
Ew, ew, ew.
No.
Yeah, that's canon.
No.
She had a whole bunch of kids with the fly.
Oh, that's fucking disgusting. Speaking of Cronenberg, they must have watched The Fly before. Oh, what'd she do? Give birth to mouse maggots?
Pretty much.
Oh,
And
yeah, I went there. Sorry, I had to.
4chan lost their fucking mind over it.
Well, there were so many furries obsessed with her in the 90s.
Uh-huh. And now all their fantasies are ruined because she fucks a fly.
Oh, it's fucking nasty.
Then of course, if you know anything about fly anatomy, it's the fact that they basically vomit on their food and then suck it up. So just picturing that in the bedroom, it's like oh.
Oh, okay. I thought I went there, but no, Kat, you beat me on that one.
I have a knack for that.
I'll bet she never asked him to eat her out.
No.
Oh, could you imagine? He like vomits into her vagina and then sucks it back out. Oh shit, the imagery.
Oh God, you know what? And then my brain goes into weird places because I just recently watched was it Z Frank? Yeah, it was Z Frank's little mini documentary on really fucked up fungi, and it's specifically the ones that attack cicadas. Do you know about these things?
Yes, I actually, after you sent me the other video today, I watched the first half of the fungi film, or the fungi documentary.
Ralt, you said no, you don't know about this?
No, because we have cicadas that wake up, scream for 2 weeks, don't elaborate, and die.
This fungus, it attacks specifically that type of cicada that hatches every 12 years. And if it infects the cicada while it's a larva, it will eat out its sex organs. So it's basically a head and a thorax with wings and like an eaten out thorax, which is really gross. And
why are we talking about this?
Because it's fun. And it'll go and it will give off the pheromones of, hey, I'm a female cicada, you want to mate with me. So the male cicadas will go mate with this desiccated part of the body and get the fungus on them. Once the males get the fungus on them, they then give off pheromones themselves saying, hey, I'm actually female, I'm not male, you want to mate with me. So male cicadas will mate with infected male cicadas to get the fungus on them. And basically it winds up with more cicadas having their thoraxes eaten out by this fucking gross fungus and spreading the spores everywhere to start again in 20 years. But you see these desiccated torsos flying around with mushrooms growing out of it. It's so fucking gross. It's amazing. Look it up. Look it up. The pictures are just absolutely disgusting.
Huh. That doesn't sound bad at all.
No, it's probably not, because it does cut down on the cicada population. But
because they can get
this
bad.
looks so fucking gross. I mean, it's not like the various forms of fungi that turn creatures into zombies, like they've made Last of Us out of. But it's just the fact that you have these eaten out bodies flying around. It's just.
It's kind of cool looking.
Oh, you got a picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're cool, but it's also.
I just want to say I looked up Gadget and Zipper's kids, and yeah, Disney, what the fuck were you thinking?
Zipper, the fly's name is Zipper.
That's the fly.
I never watched Rescue Rangers. It was not on a time slot that I never caught. I was lucky if I got Darkwing Duck. So.
Oh, I love Darkwing Duck. What a great cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they want to make that? That's the one they don't want to remember for some reason.
No, they don't. They also don't want to remember gargoyles for some strange reason.
Gargoyles, I heard you end up with.
Don't give them
really
ideas
weird...
to remake things, though, please. Like, leave those to Untouchable.
I heard you end up with some really weird copyright issues with gargoyles.
I don't see how all the characters except for the main ones are in the public domain. You've got Oberon and Titania. You've got the three weird sisters. You have fucking Macbeth. I mean, everybody's in the public domain. The only thing that might be odd is the fact that half the cast of Next Generation did the voices.
Yeah.
That's why that show, I think, did really well, is because you had the entire fan base of Star Trek watching it, because it was basically Star Trek, but with gargoyles.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Jonathan Frakes, Marina Sirtis, Michael Dorn, Brent Spiner, Kate Mulgrew. Oh God, there was another one. I'm trying to remember.
Buddy Smith, you better be fucking with me. Oh, please don't say it's true.
Good.
See, we don't need this.
No.
Seth Rogen is the most overrated, talentless hack since what's his name that works with Johnny Depp and puts his wife in everything?
Oh, Tim Burton.
Tim Burton.
Yes.
Did you hear that he's making a Beetlejuice sequel?
Yeah, I heard about that with Lydia's daughter, and it's like, I have no interest in this in any way, shape, or form.
If they were going to make a sequel, they should have made it like 2 or 3 years afterwards, but there really wouldn't be a point. There shouldn't be a fucking point.
That's just it. Hollywood has no point.
Yeah.
No, Seth Rogen is especially awful. I mean,
yeah.
That fucktard had his hands in Santa Claus Inc., or was it Santa Inc.?
And Santa Inc.
Yes.
The reason that dude got in with Hollywood so well and was put on a fucking pedestal is because he hates Christians.
Yeah, that's true.
Go all the way back to the movie Paul that he wrote with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, who I lost a shit ton of respect for when they told everybody at Comic-Con. This was the same Comic-Con where the dude got stabbed in the eye. So Steve and I were in Hall H, and they were bragging about they wrote the movie to mock Christian religion, and I was like, oh fuck, you guys are atheists, great. And then he decided to do Preacher, which, Garth Ennis already hates Christianity and Christians, so that was his wheelhouse. And then he did Santa Inc. Like, his whole goal is to destroy Christians and Christianity, and he thinks he's fucking funny, and he's not. The only reason that people went and saw the movie Funny People is because Adam Sandler was fucking funny in that movie. Not Seth Rogen, Adam Sandler.
Well, Seth Rogen's early career can be summed up with dude weed.
Yeah. He actually got Kevin Smith to become a burnout stoner. Seth Rogen would not leave Kevin Smith alone on the set of Zack and Miri Make a Porno until Kevin Smith would smoke with him. And when Seth Rogen was at Comic-Con for Paul, they asked him what his favorite part of Comic-Con was. And This was the dumbest fucking answer. Oh, I got to smoke weed with Redman. Really? That's your takeaway from Comic-Con? You got to smoke weed with Redman, a member of Wu-Tang? Wu fucking who? Sorry, that was a rant.
Seth Rogen, I mean, basically the guy lives to shit on people and then scream anti-Semitism when he gets criticized or called out.
Well, see, I keep saying one thing, just because I don't like somebody who happens to be Jewish doesn't mean I don't like Jewish people.
Mhm.
Jewish people are fine. That particular guy is an asshole. And the fact that he hides behind being Jewish makes him even a bigger asshole because he's hiding behind all of you. And it's like, oh, you don't like him because you're anti-Semitic. No, I don't like him because he's a lazy hack writer who thinks he's fucking cool, but who deserves a baseball bat upside the head and does nothing but shit on other people and then get mad when people call him out on it.
No,
Okay,
that's
because
every time when you'd
let's
see him
face
on
it,
Twitter and somebody was what's it called? Criticizing him. He'd be like, "Oh, you're just jealous that I have talent and you're anti-Semitic." It's like, "Fuck you, shut up. No,
yeah.
you're dumb."
Well, let's not forget that elf thought she should be Santa, not because she had Santa Claus skills, not because she had his magic, not because she could do the same things as him, but because she wanted to be.
Well, the ending actually says everything about that series. At the end, she goes home, she laughs maniacally and says, "I've conned everyone. Everyone's a sucker. Ha 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 ha, I win.
Mm-hmm.
I've suckered everyone."
Are you serious? That was the whole point of Santa Inc. was
Yep.
a
Yes.
Jewish elf convincing everybody that she should be Santa?
Right.
Yes.
What a horrible fucking film.
Yeah.
I guess we're supposed to think of how clever she is now.
Well, Sarah Silverman always thought she was clever and funny. No, she's just a bitter bitch.
She's a woman. She's not funny.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm going to say it.
No,
You know,
you are 100% correct.
two words that don't go together, female and comedian.
And you know what, Raltz, you're right. I'm trying to think of, are there any good female comedians out there?
That are still alive? No.
Yeah, not that are alive.
No, because I've seen, I used to go to comedy shows in Portland, and the female comedians come on there, and I lean over to my wife and say, 20 seconds before she mentions her vagina. And, the record was she came out, and the woman came out and looked at everybody and went, "My vagina." And I jumped up and bingo! Everybody looked at me. I was like, what? We're doing time cards for how long it takes these hacks to say to mention their vagina. We were asked not to come back. Because I made her cry.
You made her cry?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
You need to have a thick fucking skin to be a comedian. She cried.
But she was like, oh, you don't think I should talk about my vagina? I said, well, everybody here's seen it anyway. Fuck.
Nice.
I was like, the funniest thing about your vagina is that what I said? I said some shit. I just mocked her vagina I stood there for 2 minutes mocking her, and she's just staring at me like, I grew a second head. And the guy comes in and goes, "Sir, you're disturbing the crowd. We'd like you to leave." Because she was up there crying. You made a female comedian cry. Do you feel bad about yourself? And I said it real loudly, "Nope, sure don't."
Man, she would not handle doing comedy in Europe because in many places in Europe, I know that the crowd participates and heckles the fuck out of you. And apparently the more they heckle you, that means you're doing good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh God, I still love that thing where I can't remember who it was. It was some comedian up there, and some woman was talking about how she's a hero. She's a hero. And he's like, "You're a teacher." And just starts heckling the shit out of her. And her whole response was, "Well, you're fat." "Yeah, but I'm fat and on the stage. You're a teacher. You're not a hero. You don't run into burning buildings and teach children how to read." It was fucking glorious. But no, you watch stuff like, Lucille Ball and Phyllis Diller.
Oh yeah.
You watch them and they're fucking hilarious. And you watch the modern female comedians and it's just the clock is ticking till she mentions her period, her vagina, or how she's a slut or gay.
Wait, old school Whoopi Goldberg wasn't bad, but then she got liberal.
It was okay. It was okay. She was all right, but
I miss Mary Scheer.
Who was it? She wrote If Life is a Bowl of Cherries, Why Am I Living in the Pits? She wrote a whole series of books. There's some of the funniest shit I read. I cannot remember her name, but she wrote, a couple different books, and there were comedy books, and there were just slice of life of, suburban life. And, it was back, but when housewife bitching with a comedy spin on it was new. She was funny. But you watch TV and these female comedians come out there, and it's like, you're not funny. You're not making me laugh. But I don't know. Comedy died when Sam Kinison got hit by the truck. Because
Yeah.
I mean, who was that Mexican guy who his entire career was nothing but ripping off Sam
Carlos
Kinison?
Carlos
Mencia.
Mencia.
Yes. Carlos Mencia would do skits where he would rip off Sam Kinison.
Yeah.
And everybody was talking about how he's such a genius, and I'm like,
No.
all he did was steal his bits.
But who was it that Dennis Leary also got famous because he ripped off his supposed best friend Bill Hicks, and then named his first award-winning album Cancer after Bill Hicks's pancreatic cancer. So yeah.
Bill Hicks didn't die though.
Oh, he didn't? He faked his death?
No, he's Alex Jones.
Oh.
Look into it.
Look at, there's a lot to suggest.
No, seriously, look into it. You'll start to wonder.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You know that Alex Jones and Joe Rogan have been best friends for years. So you think Rogan helped him to go from Bill Hicks to Alex Jones?
Bill Hicks had the same manager and promotion staff as Alex Jones and same agent. Bill Hicks leaves, Alex Jones pops up a year later, and the number of times that that he has slipped up on his show, and had old friends call him Bill.
So he pulled a Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I will look that up.
We're gonna. There's a lot to suggest.
Like, I wasn't a big fan of Bill Hicks's humor. It was a little too cynical for me. My favorite thing was watching him tear apart hecklers, especially female hecklers.
I think it was Bill Hicks that did it about the whole. No, it wasn't, because that was fairly recent, because it was in the 2000s that he ripped into this woman.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Nah.
Neostar, yes, Dennis Leary is the hooked on a rant guy. Bill Hicks started that.
Yeah, and everybody talks about how great Carlin was, and I'd listen to his acts, and all he did was he's just an old boomer bitching that he didn't get his way. I agreed with some of it. I agreed with some of it.
Fun. Even
but
I
he
got
wasn't,
to see Carlin.
He wasn't like everybody acted like he was the second coming of comedy. Now, the other thing that killed comedy was radio shock jocks. God, I hated them.
Oh,
Bill, what's his name? Imus and Stern.
Yeah. Where they would say, they'd say the most crass shit for ratings. And it was like, oh, fuck.
Who I wish I could have seen before he died? Richard Pryor. That was a comedian.
Eddie Murphy used to do good stuff.
God, Eddie Murphy was great too.
Yeah, him and cocaine got along really well.
Yeah. Robin Williams and cocaine got along excellently.
Oh my God. Did you guys ever watch the Comic Relief when Robin Williams was always the closer and he would be cracked out of his mind? But even when he was off cocaine, he was still cracked out of his mind.
If you watch the old Mork from Ork series, you can practically see the cocaine coming off of him.
Yeah.
Because I loved that show when I was a kid.
Mork from Ork? I always remember just Mork and Mindy.
Mork and Mindy, that's it. I just remembered he was Mork from Ork.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember he had an egg and Jonathan Winters popped out, and that was the end of that series.
Yeah.
I remember that. That's so weird that Mork and Mindy is a spinoff of Happy Days.
Yes.
Actually, aren't there 3 or 4 different shows that were a spin-off of Happy
Joni
Days?
Loves
Joni Loves
Chachi.
Chachi.
Yeah.
God damn, there's a famous one that's a spin-off of Happy Days, but I can't think of it.
Can look it up.
I can't remember anymore. Happy Days was a good show. I don't care what anybody says.
I loved Happy Days. I mean, it's funny that Ron Howard says the reason he was written out of the show was because he was going bald. They said that it wasn't possible to have a bald teenager on the show.
Well, plus, I thought it was kind of realistic that he got drafted.
Yeah.
He got drafted and sent to Vietnam.
Okay,
I thought that was realistic.
Raltz, it was Laverne and Shirley.
Laverne and Shirley, yeah.
Mork and Mindy, Joni Loves Chachi, Fonz and the Happy Days Gang, which was a cartoon.
Oh, God, that was
Out
terrible.
of the Blue, and Blonsky's Beauties, which I don't remember that one at all.
Oh, God.
I only know that because Mystery Science Theater referenced it.
But I watched the hell out of Laverne and Shirley when I was a kid. I love those reruns. That was a fun show.
Awesome Pepper Corporated.
Okay, Janelle?
Yeah.
You looking at your screen?
Yes.
I'm on the back porch. What am I missing?
It's just Alex Jones.
Oh.
He had a nose job, and he's either wearing or was Bill Hicks blue-eyed too?
I don't know.
Oh God. That would fit with Alex Jones. Oh my goodness. He just had a nose job. That was it.
He just went down and had somebody break his nose.
Oh my God. Okay, no. All right. I believe it. Bill Hicks is Alex Jones.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
That is frighteningly accurate.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Well, also, the fact that, Bill Hicks was a chain smoker and then Alex Jones has that gravelly voice.
Didn't Alex Jones come out of nowhere and nobody can really find anything on him?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
I do know that he apparently has to pay the gross national product of several countries to people.
Does he?
Well, because of the shit
it's something like It's something like $100 billion.
Oh, because of the recent
because of the Sandy Hook thing. Can you imagine being told by the judge you have to pay $100 million? I just, disappear.
Well, it looks like he was able to do it before.
That is a big ass hornet in the top ramen box. What are you doing in the top ramen box, my friend? And what are you doing up at 11:30 at night? Yeah. Whatever. Look, that stuff's expensive now. It's not a dime a package anymore. Remember when top ramen was like a dime a package?
Yeah.
Yes.
God, we went to that. We stopped by Burger King. It's like $1 a pack. We stopped by Burger King today. I took one look at the prices. I said, "Fuck this. We'll just go home. We'll just be hungry." They want $11 for a Texas Double Whopper.
11, but no. Go to a regular restaurant if you're gonna do that. For a Whopper. What?
There's no such thing. The dollar meals are gone. The dollar meal's gone. It's the $2 meal. No, it's the $2 menu.
Jesus.
Yeah, prices are going up all over.
I haven't eaten fast food in forever. So.
No, we were in town, and we hadn't eaten, and we were like, "Oh, we'll just stop. We might get some fast food for the first time in like 6 months." Took one look at that. I was like, "Fuck that! Get a fucking job."
Jeez.
Honestly, I don't even remember the last time we ate fast food.
I remember we came out here to visit, and on our way home, this was on our way home back to California, we stopped by an In-N-Out. That was like 10 years ago.
I get pizza from Pizza Hut once a month so that nobody has to cook for one day a month. And,
I know. If the ads are to be believed out here, pizza is one of the few things that's actually still, worth it.
It's slowly creeping up. That's like buffalo wings have like tripled in price. And they're not going down. they were like, "Oh, it's because of the chicken shortage." It's like, okay, now the chicken shortage is over. It's going to go down. LOL, no. It's like, huh? So you want me to pay $15 for 7 fucking chicken wings with sauce on them? No. No, it's 6 wings for $7.99. No. No, I can go down to the store and get a bag of them for fucking $4.99. Throw some breading on them and throw them in hot grease. Then once you handle the second-degree burns, you've got breaded wings. Oh, but what about the special sauce?
Don't need a goddamn special sauce.
I can make special sauce.
That's
I got
what
shit in
he
the fucking
said.
cupboard.
Yeah.
Take your special sauce and get the fuck out of here. No, man. Things are just upside down nowadays.
I can remember when they had 29-cent or 25-cent cheeseburger or hamburger Monday at McDonald's and 35-cent cheeseburger Tuesdays at McDonald's, and us poor college students would love that because you could get a bunch of hamburgers and it tasted like shit, yes, but you could put them in your mini fridge in your dorm room and at least you had some food for like a couple of days. Yeah.
Okay, so changing subject, has anyone heard anything about this show that the Daily Wire is putting out called Normal World?
No.
No.
Have you seen the ads for this thing?
No.
Generally, I haven't been all that impressed with anything they've put out. I mean, they've apparently done some good stuff, but they've got this, apparently, I think it's a sketch comedy show that they're doing now called Normal World. And the ads for it are fucking hilarious.
Is it a world where people have jobs?
It's basically thoroughly ripping on the state of Hollywood and movies. And like they have this like behind the scenes, they're talking about the making of, and they're talking to the directors. No, it's because we want to make a movie about children having sex. He doesn't mean that. He means 18-year-old. No, I mean little. Now, what you got to understand is this is going to have kids having sex and drugs. And, this is going to be something that you haven't seen in like a month or two.
In a month or two.
And, the thing is, it's going to make millennials feel hip and young. And, Zoomers are going to watch it because they feel like they have to.
God.
Yeah. No, that's like, I took a look at Voodoo. I'm like, hey, I heard the D&D movie's up. So I take a look. $30? Go fuck yourself.
No.
I'll wait till it goes on sale. I haven't paid much attention to the Daily Wire of late, especially apparently Matt Walsh went on some rant about the new Zelda game and said it was like satanic propaganda.
What?
Yeah. I guess
idea.
Matt Walsh says some weird stuff about video games. I don't usually pay attention to him because sometimes his rants can get a little preachy. Though I still want to see his documentary, What is a Woman? I haven't seen it yet. But what's his name? G Prime did a political cartoon about it. You know how he puts out like 1 or 2 a day, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I was reading in the comments that Matt Walsh, I guess, went off on the new Zelda game, which I thought that was kind of weird because I thought Matt Walsh was a little bit more logical than that.
I have no idea.
Wait. Okay, JC says they turned Link trans.
Oh. Well, fuck.
Yeah, but for how
everything.
long? I mean, for how long? Are we talking do they turn him into a girl for part of the adventure? Kind of like where Cloud fucking dresses up as a girl to infiltrate the brothel? I mean, what are we looking at?
I don't know. That's just what I was reading about on Instagram.
I don't trust Instagram. Too many people show their buttholes.
You mean like that one, was it an artist or a writer that sent his butthole pics to Ethan Van Sciver?
It was a writer.
Yeah.
And that actually popped up on my feed, and I was like, dude, you got some serious infections.
Honestly, I am very surprised that Ethan did not call the police or get the police involved, because that's blatant sexual harassment. That was unwanted pics of a man's anus that he didn't want, and just
Nobody wanted it.
oh god. Well, I remember Ethan posted them and he put like a little smiley face over the anus. That guy had a really hairy ass.
He also had a bunch of white heads.
Yeah, like
Ew.
he had a gross butt. And just yeah, I don't think there was a lot of hygiene going on with the butt. Like not even washing of the cheeks. Oh, there it was. It was the artist for Zoe Quinn's book Goddess Mode, Robbie Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Robbie Butthole.
Goddess Mode was so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I have nothing really to add to that. You're right.
They got rid of the feminine disguise for the women-only village from the first game. Oh, see, it wasn't trans. It was cross-dressing to accomplish the mission.
Oh my god, Buddy Smith, I remember that. Remember Cecil bought the butt mask and did bits as Robbie's butthole for like months? I remember that now. Because I remember he would sip a drink through the butthole, like he had the straw.
Like in South Park.
Yes!
Oh, jeez.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I know this is digging up old shit, but I still miss Cecil and Nurkish doing a show together. That was some of the funniest shit I'd ever heard in my life.
And then there was the falling out or something.
Yeah, and it honestly, like, just a lot of egos got involved. Cecil, I don't think had anything to do with it. It was between Nurkish and Ethan. And I didn't fault Nurkish at all.
Yeah.
For Ethan to come after Nurkish saying, hey, you're ruining my brand because of your Discord, when Nurkish had never hidden the fact that he was a hardcore free speech absolutist, and that's what his Discord was for. I understand why Nurkish bounced. I'd be like, yeah, no, you can't do that. You can't just tell me that you want me to distance myself from my Discord and stop doing everything because it's going to fuck your brand over. Like, you knew what I was about. I mean, he did a shit ton of videos. You knew what Nurkish was about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love when Nurkish would bring on his racist dad.
Yeah. He would talk about his schizophrenic mom. That one where he talked about how he ditched school and he was at home and had to go hide in the closet, and his mom was home for the whole day and he had to sit in there for 6 hours, and she just kept saying that like a rock from the old Chevrolet commercials for 6 hours. Like, holy shit. He ditched school and couldn't get out of, couldn't leave the closet because his mom decided to be home from work that day too.
You know, the thing is,
she decided to be home and be crazy.
I gotta wonder how much of the him ripping on his parents is loosely based on reality. Some of it just sounds a little too real.
Whoa, wait. Earthworm Jim, Doug Tenaple converted Nurkish to Christianity a few months ago. That's right. Doug stayed friends with Nurkish and that crew.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I liked my favorite Nurkish episode was the one where he mocked the bread and wine, where the San Francisco professor.
Oh God!
Yeah, that was fucking brutal.
Oh God, that book is still induces vomiting instantly.
That is Samuel Delaney.
Yes.
So-called great sci-fi writer and professor at NYU. Chip. That guy is a sick pedo fuck who needs a beating.
Yeah.
Oh, the fact that, I'm sorry. He took a homeless man in to be his sex slave. I don't care what anybody says.
No, that's fucked. That's incredibly fucked. And it's like, I'm listening to this. I'm like, okay, where's the point where it's like, I'm uplifting this person. I'm helping them get up off the street. I'm, helping them get a second chance. No, I've turned this poor homeless guy into my sex slave, because he has literally no other options. It's like, fuck.
Yeah, that when Nurkish read that, I had to pause for a minute because I didn't listen to it live. And I rewind. I was like, no, 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 no. And I
Oh,
just sat there watching and like, oh my God, he he turned a homeless man into his personal sex slave. And just, yeah. And so the guy is also a pedophile and a supposed sci-fi writer.
Oh, he's gotten all these Hugos. He's considered a legend.
yeah.
Who?
It's
Ew.
Samuel Delaney.
Oh, yeah, him.
Yeah, him.
So let me see. I'm just curious if I posted it. Did you read the Boobs of Steel chapter, The Red Menace?
No.
Do you know?
Okay, no, I don't. Did I? No,
I
I didn't. I
you
don't
know I
think I've read that one yet.
you know how I posted all those chapters up on the Discord for people to look at?
Yes.
The last chapter, chapter 16, The Red Menace, I believe I get into Samuel Delaney a bit in that chapter.
Wait, yes, because you also talk about the evil fucking woman that was the head of the Sci-Fi Writers Guild, but she was
Yeah.
actually like sex trafficking children, and she
Yep.
was a horrible
Yep.
pedo.
Great friend.
Okay.
Yep.
No, okay, I read that. That was one of the first chapters I read, and that was like a year ago.
Well, the
So no,
finished
you had
version
me
of
read
that
one of
is
the
now available.
drafts.
Yeah, Delaney actually flat out, when I was writing about their hatred of Heinlein, I've got a quote straight from Delaney saying, "Yeah, he was the enemy."
That's right, because I remember you said that they all decided that Heinlein was the enemy, and Heinlein used to be one of them. But then Heinlein was like, no, this is actually bullshit. And then everybody turned on him.
Yeah.
But they were pissed, though, because Heinlein was still writing books that were selling out like crazy.
Well, he was outselling both Asimov and Arthur C. Clarke, and both of them kind of were butthurt about it.
Yeah, no, I remember because you and I even talked about it. You'd called me one day to ask me about that chapter, and you had spent like 20 minutes giving me like the whole history that wasn't just in the chapter alone. It was fascinating and disturbing at the same time. But yeah, like the Sci-Fi Writers Association, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I absolutely didn't want to buy any sci-fi books after that. I didn't want to read anything except for Heinlein books. In fact, I bought Friday and The Moon is a Harsh Mistress after reading that chapter.
Moon is a harsh mistress is really good.
I still haven't read it because I have so many books to catch up on
I know
because
you're
the
still reading
reviews
Deathlands.
just keep throwing me these titles, and I'm like buying them up as fast as I can.
I read The Moon as a Harsh Mistress so long ago, I barely remember anything but the rail gun, and that's it.
Have you guys read? I think I asked you before, and you said no. You guys haven't read The Cat Who Walks Through Walls, right?
No.
Okay, because that's the book where Heinlein ties all of his books together. Every single one. You find out that there's a group of people that jump through space time and go to different dimensions and kind of reorganize time. And a couple of the characters from The Moon is a Harsh Mistress is in that book. And the only reason I found out about that was because they list those characters on the back blurb of the book when you're reading. What the book is about, and I was like, oh shit, those guys were in in The Cat Who Walks Through Walls. Think and there's a couple others too. Jabal, is that the guy's name?
Mm.
And I know that the one about the guy from Mars, Stranger in a Strange Land, Valentine Michael Smith, also makes a cameo in The Cat Who Walks Through Walls.
Interesting.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. It was one of his more comedic, satirical books, so it gave me a good laugh.
Well, let me tell you, finding out which of these Golden Age writers and the New Wave writers of the 60s and 70s who were complete shitheads has made slushing for the Immortal Classic series we're doing, all the Occult collections.
A lot easier.
A lot easier. We see a name, says, fuck it, skip this one.
Well, I'm good. I'm glad that Frank Herbert wasn't a part of that. Oh my, I would be devastated.
You know what? They never say it. He was a conservative.
Forever. I'm trying to remember Forever War is the one I'm thinking of because there's one that was really good and the other one was done by Scalzi.
Forever War is the one where the guys going back and forth between Earth during the war and because of the time dilation.
Yeah, that was actually a good book.
And it was
I actually like
it was him dealing with his post-traumatic stress from Vietnam.
Yeah.
That's too bad Scalzi turned out to be a piece of shit because I actually liked the
He's
first 3 books.
always been. He ripped that off.
Oh, he ripped that off because the one I'm thinking of is I read the first 3 books in the Old Man's War series.
He
and
ripped that off so fucking hard.
Oh, he did? From what?
Yeah.
The only reason I ask is I want to read the original. But yeah, when Kat Nishi told me about Scalzi, and I reluctantly told Steve, and I could tell Steve was bummed, but he stopped reading his series. He really liked it. And I was like, yeah, we shouldn't be supporting this guy.
Well, also keep in mind that he speaks very poorly of his audience. Says they're a bunch of idiots.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So he'll take our money and then slap us in the face. Nice.
He flat out told me that, people aren't very smart and his audience isn't very smart. And you want to write a book that makes them feel smart.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Talk about bitter feelings towards your audience. Why the fuck are you a writer anyway?
Money.
He's a shitbag. It's that simple, and he's a con artist.
He sucks Hollywood's taint, and they give him money.
I mean,
then there you go.
He was cucking for feminism back in the 80s. I mean, there's that whole thing about him on Oprah back when he was
Oprah.
Yeah, back in the 80s, and he was going on about women should be in charge, and he's always been basically jumping on the bandwagon for something and conning his way into money.
Well, he thinks he's like a serious tough guy on Twitter, but he blocks anybody that tells him, dude, you're a fucking retard. And, it's funny, I actually called him out on Twitter before I lost my account because he was talking shit about the military. And I said, for a guy who made his meager fortune writing about the military, you sure talk a lot of shit about it, buddy. And he was like, well, it's different when I do it because I research. I said, like, oh, so you research something. That practically makes you a combat vet. My God. And he got all pissed off. Because he was like, oh, the military does nothing but turn out fascists. And it's like, fuck you. And I hate that. I hate all of these people who make huge money, and are hypocrites about it. I mean, a good example, look at how many Hollywood stars have made their fortunes off of movies where the poster has them holding a gun.
Yeah.
And they're anti-gun.
Yeah.
I will say there's one actor that actually backed it up when he protested. It was Jim Carrey, and he did Kick-Ass 2. But then I forget what happened, a school shooting, and all of a sudden he was like, nope, I am against guns. I'm no longer going to be doing any violent movies, and stepped away from action films.
Well, Jim Carrey's crazy.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey fucked that retard that killed a bunch of kids because she claimed that you could get autism from inoculations.
My God, do not get me fucking started on Jenny McCarthy. Fuck that bitch. She has set back any sort of help that can come to the autistic community back by years, and she has. Oh my! I'm sorry. You guys know how much.
Sorry about your dead kid. LOL.
Yeah. When she got Jim Carrey aboard, and Jim Carrey said that the guy that was pushing for vaccines was Dr. Death, and vaccines will give kids autism. I'd rather have a child with autism than a dead child. But there were so many fucking stupid parents that did not vaccinate their kids because they were so scared that their child was going to have autism. Wouldn't you rather your kid was alive? Holy shit.
Well, also, they didn't understand what autism is. They make it sound like it's something
Well, let's establish something. Jenny McCarthy's a fucking moron.
Yeah.
She really is. She is a fucking
She's famous
moron.
for showing her butthole. Okay.
Yeah. Showing her butthole, shaking her tits. Her Her audition was her just taking her clothes off and it's like, there, do I get the part?
When she was what was it, singled out, like
Yeah.
all she did was shit talk and humiliate all the men on that show. She
Mhm.
didn't do it to Chris Hardwick because she knew Chris Hardwick would tear her apart on live TV because he was a professional comedian.
Have I told you the Chris Hardwick story?
No, but I'm pretty sure Chris Hardwick is a prick
No,
too.
no. Hear me out here. You're gonna like this. Back when Singled Out was on, for a while, my sister was working at a mini mart liquor store for a while,
Mhm.
and it was right next to the studio where Singled Out was filmed. And he would come in after the shoots to buy hard liquor, and he would just come up to the register and start talking to whoever was there. Everyone I work with are fucking morons. Jenny is a fucking moron. You have no idea how stupid these people are. I have to
he's
stand.
not a prick.
He was just going on and on about how he could not stand working with Jenny McCarthy because she was such an idiot.
You know that Singled Out drove him to alcoholism. He's an alcoholic. He's been sober for like over 10 years. But yeah, I'm not surprised to hear the story about him coming in to buy hard liquor because he said he would get wasted after every single show. Now I know why.
You go. Yeah. Yeah, he would just sit there with whoever was the cashier and just go on about how stupid everyone was that he worked with and how much he hated his job and that he wanted out of his contract.
Well, I'm pleasantly surprised to hear that story because I thought you were about to say, I was like, okay, yeah, I guess he's going to be a prick too. I'm like, oh, okay, no, he's actually not.
That's kind of nice to hear.
Yeah.
I do remember his wife came out and made all kinds of fucking allegations against him, and they took him off The Talking Dead, and then it turned out it was all fake, and the studio execs had to eat shit.
It was his ex-girlfriend, Chloe Dykstra, the daughter of the guy who was the head of special effects on the first Star Wars film.
Wait, Dykstra's daughter?
Dykstra's daughter dated Chris Hardwick for a long time, and the only reason I know all this stuff too is because I have friends in the cosplay community, and Chloe was part of the cosplay community, so I heard some shit. Chloe cheated on Chris with Sam Witwer. And then he found out and she begged for forgiveness. And he was like, no, you cheated on me. We're done. So she went to get her revenge. She actually took parts out of his comedy book from his comedy routines and said he was doing things to her, saying that she couldn't leave the hotel room during Comic-Con and he had to have sex with her every night, and mocked her for quote unquote starfishing, which means she just laid there while he fucked her. People pointed out those were literally comedy bits from his book, that none of that happened. And so she went after him to cancel him because he dumped her. And after he dumped her, he met Lydia Hearst, William Randolph Hearst's great-granddaughter, and Patty Hearst's daughter. So Chris Hardwick's mother-in-law is Patty Hearst. And Patty Hearst, when she found out what Chloe Dykstra did, she annihilated her on social media. I mean, tore her a new asshole. And then Nerdist, this was the shitty part. His best friend, Will Wheaton, said, I'm sorry to hear that. My best friend is a rapist, and I'm distancing myself. Threw him under the bus. Matt Mira threw him under the bus. Jonah Rodriguez threw him under the bus. Nerdist threw him under the bus. They did the investigation, or AMC did the investigation, the independent investigation, showed it was all bullshit and lies. Notice who got blacklisted from Hollywood very quick. It wasn't Chris Hardwick. Little Wesley got in deep shit for doing that, and he disappeared.
Well, I'll tell my
nobody
story
likes him.
again.
Yeah.
What? I'll tell my Will Wheaton story again.
Fuck yeah. Anything to make fun of Wesley.
Okay. Will Wheaton. Right. This is briefly after he got onto Star Trek. This was right when he got the role. And the Glen Helen Renaissance Fair, I had friends who were part of the Sea Dogs, I believe they were called, that were the Sea Dogs Guild, so the pirates, and that apparently Will Wheaton was attending and one of the performers at the Glen Helen Renaissance Fair that year, and that he was a little prick and nobody wanted anything to do with him. Now, anybody who knows anything about the Renaissance Fair, apparently behind the scenes, it's one great big fucking orgy.
Yes.
It's a bunch
Yes.
of
They're a lot of
debauchery.
I'm sorry. If you've never been to one, you have to go and fuck some chubby girl who hasn't bathed in 3 days, because you just got to do it to mark it off your bucket list. You got to fuck her. You got to fuck her behind the ale tent. You just got to do it.
That's actually very accurate. Yes. So anyway, apparently Will Wheaton, none of the guilds wanted him because he was such an obnoxious little prick. And behind the scenes, everyone's getting plowed, you're getting drunk off their asses, and they're having the nightly orgy. And apparently Wheaton is drunk off of his ass. And apparently there are photos of this even. That he goes, nobody will fuck me. He's wandering around, nobody wants to have sex with me. I'll just have sex with this tree, and pulls his pants down and starts dry humping the tree. And people took photos. So there's blackmail material right there, whoever has those photos.
How old was he?
Let's see.
This was what, first season of Star Trek?
Yeah.
So
It's boys and girls is why tigers should eat their young.
Yeah.
He couldn't have been more than 16?
Yeah, okay, 1987. And now go ahead.
We're looking him up.
Born in 72.
So he's 15 and he's wondering why nobody wants to fuck him because,
He's a
yeah,
child.
I'm sure those the either chubby or the heroin shooting goth, the chubby girls, or the heroin shooting goth girls want a 15-year-old shrimp dick. That's right up their alley.
And apparently he was just the most unsufferable little prick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, have you ever seen how he's changed the stories from his dad was super supportive to his dad was abusive so he can get on all the bandwagons?
Oh God, yeah, that's him.
No, he changes his narrative all the time to fit the bandwagons. He even dyed his hair midnight blue when dyeing hair started becoming the big thing. It became culture instead of counterculture.
Yeah. But speaking of interesting that you had mentioned heroin thin goth girls, she didn't do heroin, but the girl that I knew that was the performer was a goth girl.
Yeah. God, I went to Ren Fairs a couple times. I used to go. Me and Trista used to go because because number one, it's very active, and people like little children, and when you go there, as long as you keep them away from people who don't like them, and and the girls would love to watch the guys out there fighting. They were like 5 and 2, and a 2-year-old could hold attention for about 30 seconds, but my oldest just absolutely loved watching them all fight. And we knew a couple guys who were part of Ren Fair, and a couple of them would wear full armor and carry my daughter around on their shoulder, and she loved it.
That's
cool.
awesome.
Cute.
My parents used to take me to the Renaissance Fair and Azusa all the time, and I friggin' loved it. That was so much fun. It was the first time I had a giant turkey leg, and my dad really liked it. There was this one woman that would sell her wares, and she had huge tits. So she wore this bodice that just made everything spill out. And she would
Oh
put
yeah,
a
you
piece
gotta
of
wear the
fruit in
titties
her
still.
cleavage, like a pear. She put a pear in one year. My dad had his camcorder and he's filming, this was the 80s, so the bulky camcorder that you had to carry in the suitcase. And she's like, "Sir, you have never seen such a finer pear in all the land." And she's pointing to her wares, but she's shoving her chest out with the pear nestled in between her cleavage. It was great.
I mean, you gotta wear if you got the tits for it, you gotta wear the bodice where you're spilling out, or it's just not realism.
That and it was kind of required that you have some sort of decorative object shoved between them at all times.
Yes.
to draw the eye.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, one year she had a huge strawberry. Another time it was a pear. She had a shiny apple one year. It was kind of fun too because you're like, what kind of fruit is she gonna shove in her tits this year? You know?
Did you ever?
Um,
Did you ever
it was
go?
really fun.
Did you ever go when suddenly the Klingons decided to show up?
Yeah.
I've actually been to a couple of Renaissance fairs where the away team has shown up. In fact, Chris was watching Star Trek with me at that point, and a guy showed up as Captain Picard, and Chris was like, "It's Captain Picard." But yeah, the away teams are so much fun. I'm glad that they allow that at the Renaissance fair instead of being like completely anal about it, because it makes perfect sense.
You would occasionally also get Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, because he's just going to wander around for whatever reason.
Yeah,
I have not seen Lincoln, but I've seen Klingons and I've seen Next Generation away teams.
Haven't seen the away teams, did see Klingons, did see Lincoln. And then when it became really popular, I saw Xena, Warrior Princess.
Oh yeah, lots of Xena.
Lots of Xena.
But that would fit.
The Xena bra is really cool if they do it right because it's got the gap on the bottom. And she doesn't even have to take that top off, and it's great for titty fucking. It really is. You just got to get down on her knees and you're good to go.
Holy shit. I think I need to get that for Steve and I.
Wow.
Why not? Make sure I'm adventurous.
You got to make sure it's open at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you I could find one at Comic-Con Did I tell you guys that Steve and I said, fuck it, we're going to Comic-Con this year?
Oh, you'll have to play reconnaissance and give us the report.
Oh, that's one of the reasons we're going. Is I'm like, oh man, I can make an entire show out of Comic-Con.
Well, yeah, you can come on the air and we'll do a writers or a Wordcraft where you talk about just San Diego report.
Yeah.
Well, after that would be cool. Last year when Hollywood didn't show up, so it actually went back to being Comic-Con. There were so many like writers and artists. Instead of having them all at Artist Alley, though, they got smart and opened their own booths instead. So Steve and I got to see so much neat art and indie comics. I told you we talked to the guy that was from Brazil. Or not Brazil, I'm sorry. I think it was Chile. No, he was from Chile. And we bought one of his comics. And yeah, we just ended up buying a bunch of indie stuff. And we bought Chris a woman specialized in sports cars. And she was from La Jolla. And she was a huge sports
How much did she cost?
Huh?
How much did she cost?
I don't know.
You said you bought Chris a woman. I was like, how much did she cost?
No, I'm sorry. We bought she did a McLaren for Chris.
No,
she did a McLaren.
She's not going to buy him a woman until he's 16.
Okay.
He's shy when it comes to girls.
Let old Uncle Rolls take it down to the fucking ranch in New Mexico or Nevada. Don't tell your mom. Don't tell your mom.
Anyway, just it was so nice to see the indie artists and writers back.
Well, it's nice that Hollywood isn't parasiting off Comic-Con anymore.
Yeah.
Well, considering the fact that Hollywood's, oh, by the way, I don't know if you guys have heard, Texas is now slated to be bigger and richer than California by 2050. Everybody's leaving California. And I do feel sorry for Texas because the tech industry is leaving Silicon Valley and moving to Austin. Hollywood has left LA and is moving to Austin. Everything's moving to Texas. Like California, all the rich are leaving.
I saw a car here at the store that had spray painted on the sign, California go home. They had California plates and all the fucking California stickers.
That's popping up around here is all these bumper stickers and things saying, fuck off California.
Well, they show up, they've made bad decisions for 60 years. And they're like, oh, I guess the ship's sinking. We better leave. And then they go to the next place and they vote for the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
I lost a lot of respect for Joe Rogan when he moved to Austin. Oh, that's the other thing. The entire comedy scene has moved to Austin now. Like the Comedy Store is basically emptied out in LA. But Rogan moved to Texas for all the tax breaks and all the freedom. And then he's on his show talking about how he's going to start voting to push for the same policies that help bring California down. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, man? You moved to that state to get all the good stuff, and now you want to ruin it like you helped ruin California?
As long as he's got money, he can run away. He's
Yeah,
not
and
like
it's
us
like,
plebes.
what state's going to be the next victim after Texas? I really do feel sorry for Texas. That's not right. And I'm sorry, California is cancer, and it's metastasized horribly.
Well, I hate to say it. I remember just the mentality when we were moving here.
Oh, it was one of those things. It's like I couldn't get rid of the plates on my car fast enough.
No. Your mom, the first says, well, maybe you can teach them some things. It's like, no, I think they're going to teach us some things because obviously the policies here didn't work.
And you know what? They did. Moving here has changed my perspective on a lot of things for the better, and I am so fucking happy.
It was just the arrogance of your mom to say that.
Well, there's a lot of Californians that go to Facebook for small towns like mine and infiltrate and invade the fucking groups and lecture all of us about what our hometowns are actually like.
I hate people like that.
And see, I'm not from here.
Like that.
And I showed up with Oregon plates. I was like, fuck, they're gonna give a shit. And nobody gave a shit or anything because the neighbor was like, hey, you want to go down? I'm going to the range next week. Do you want to go? And I'm like, yeah, I'd love to. I haven't fired a rifle in years. And my wife's all, we fit in. My neighbor's like, you should have moved here, not gone back to the West Coast. I'm like, yeah, but this is where the trail led to, and I'm happy with it. But yeah, but we've seen Californians that have, they come out and they put all the fucking signs on their yard, and they put up all their stupid fucking banners, and they're always talking mad shit, and they actually think they can confront people in California. You can confront somebody in the store wearing a t-shirt that that they don't like. You can confront somebody, and then everybody stands up and claps. But here, some fucking 4'10" woman comes up and starts ranting to you about how if I had my way, I'd tear that shirt off you. Well, if you touch me, bitch, I'll throw you through that plate glass window.
Yeah, this isn't California. We can actually defend ourselves.
Yeah. It's like, I don't have to put up with anything from you. You're not my wife.
One of my favorite stories about moving out here was it was 4th of July, first year. Now, our area just basically said, fuck you to the lockdown. And it's like, it's 4th of July. We're going to have fun. Screw it. The local firefighters had paid for a big fireworks display at the local school. So,
and then the Mormon church did the other one.
Yeah, and the Mormon church did the other one. And everybody down the block all had fireworks that they were doing on the streets. It was just this big celebration everywhere you looked. It was wonderful. People were blasting music, waving American flags. I hadn't seen a celebration for the U.S. like that since probably 91. And it was just beautiful. And we're walking down the street, just reveling in just, this is exactly why we moved here. This is awesome. And then you had the one house. All of the lights were turned off. There was nobody around. They had used chalk to write all this, yay BLM stuff all over their own house.
And they had all the signs all over the place.
And they had the rainbow flags, all the different things. And they had hidden in their front yard speakers, and they were blasting, what was the song?
Get Up, Stand Up on a Loop.
Get Up, Stand Up on a Loop. And that was their protest of 4th of July.
They were going to play Bob Marley on 4th of July. Get up, stand up for your rights.
That sounds acceptable.
Yeah. Meanwhile, everyone else is playing rock and roll and
proud to be an American.
And
I just made a huge mistake. I commented with my husband's account.
Oh.
I don't know if you can remove that. I don't think my husband wants his face out there. I forgot it was on his account.
Can't remove it. We wind up blocking him.
Okay.
Give me a second.
Oh, you're taking care of it? Okay. But
See, we didn't have much lockdown out where I live because, well, I did a lot of delivering fucking supplies to the old people and shit because I have a truck. And, what do I care?
Removed it.
I got COVID early, so I was like, fucking, I'm not gonna get it again. And I delivered supplies and stuff, and I'd only be masked when I walked up and set the supplies on the porch.
Mhm.
And nobody pulled me over. Nobody. The most I got was, one of the cops was like, there's supposed to be a lockdown in the county. I was like, well, I'll tell you what, why don't you load all this stuff up in the back of your cop car and you take it. And what's funny is he got fired like 3 days later. Oh, he was such an ass.
Nobody was enforcing the COVID shit here.
Not really.
He was running around trying to enforce the COVID rules, and the sheriff was just like, you're not a good fit for our town.
Nice.
Now, it's interesting is the few Californians that live outside of Phoenix are all terrified. It's great.
Yeah,
they're scared to death. They all just stay in Phoenix. They're convinced that if they leave Phoenix, it's going to be deliverance.
Yeah, they are.
Somebody posted a big
Californians
rant.
who live in Phoenix, and I'm glad to hear that they're terrified of leaving.
Yeah.
Somebody posted a big rant on our local Facebook about how seeing all the American flags terrify them.
Well, then they can fuck off.
I love what people posted. Well, then get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, as an undocumented immigrant, your flags terrify me. And it's like, get
why the fuck are you
out.
here?
Well, now you really need to get out.
Oh my God.
People shouldn't be allowed to hang flags up there because it's celebrating colonialism and get out.
You know what?
Well, what about those same undocumented that come here and bitch about us hanging our flags and they put up their country's flag instead?
Somebody took a picture and they have a big Mexican flag hanging in their fucking window.
You know what's great about that is when they had the big anti-America protests in San Diego, where you had all the illegals doing their march, but they're holding the signs saying make
America Mexico again.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The Border Patrol showed up and arrested them all and deported them.
My favorite part was this guy who posted on Twitter, you can't deport us all. And then he posts on Twitter like a month later, I got deported. And see, I look at it like this.
You fucker.
I look at it like this. We're one of the few countries on earth that isn't allowed to have a border.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever seen Canada's immigration laws?
Oh my
Holy
God,
fuck. Mexico's immigration laws. Holy shit.
The only reason the border's open right now is because they're trying to get free voters. I'm sorry, that's my opinion.
Have you heard the new thing? We need to bring in undocumented. We need to bring in more immigrants because Americans aren't willing to work for a real wage. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? You have to have 3 jobs to pay the fucking rent and your utilities and your food. Get the fuck out. Don't expect me to feel the same companies that are posting record fucking profits, not gross, net profits and record stocks are bitching because Americans want paid. And I love that. Oh, they do work that Americans won't do. No, they do work that Americans won't do for pennies.
Right.
Yeah.
It has to do with both votes and it has to do with these guys making record fucking profits. I'm sorry, when your company posts $14 billion in net profits in 1 year, don't expect me to feel bad for you that you can't hire somebody from minimum wage, because what it tells me when you offer to pay me minimum wage is I would pay you less, but it's illegal. Yeah.
All right, guys, we got to call it a night. We've been on for over 2 hours.
Oh, wow. Shit. And I'm exhausted. I'm just going to take my meds and go to bed.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. And,
oh, no, Wolf just showed up.
remember, the prices on Amazon are going up for hard copies.
And paperback. Yeah.
Paperback.
So go buy the books now if you want to save money.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Good night.
Good night.